Joseph would have some heroic descendants. Among them were Joshua, who led the Israelites into the promised land, and Deborah and Gideon, judges of Israel. Welcome back to the program, everybody. I'm Reverend Said, and today we're going to be reading Genesis chapter 49, verse 29, and Genesis chapter 50, verse 13, Jacob's death and burial. And if you ain't did it already, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like, share, and comment on any video on this channel. All right, let's begin with our reading of Genesis chapter 49, verse 29, and Genesis chapter 50, verse 13. Jacob instructed his sons, "Soon I will die and join my ancestor. Bury me with my father and grandfather in the cave in the field of Ephron the Hittite. This is the cave in the field of Machpelah near Mamre and Canaan that Abraham bought from Ephron the Hittite as a permanent burial site. There Abraham and his wife Sarah are buried. There Isaac and his wife Rebekah are buried. And there I buried Leah. It is the plot of land in the cave that my grandfather Abraham bought from the Hittites." When Jacob had finished this charge to his sons, he drew his feet into bed and breathed his last breath and joined his ancestors in death. Joseph threw himself on his father and wept over him and kissed him. Then Joseph told the physicians who served him to embalm his father's body. So Jacob was embalmed. The embalming process took the usual 40 days, and the Egyptians mourned his death for 70 days. When the period of mourning was over, Joseph approached Pharaoh's advisors and said, "Please do me this favor and speak to Pharaoh on my behalf. Tell him that my father made me swear on an oath. He said to me, 'Listen, I am about to die. Take my body back to the land of Canaan and bury me in a tomb I prepared for myself. So please allow me to go and bury my father. After his burial, I will return without delay.'" Pharaoh agreed to Joseph's request. "Go ahead and bury your father, as he made you promise," he said. So Joseph went up to bury his father. He was accompanied by all of Pharaoh's officials, all the senior members of Pharaoh's household, and all the senior officers of Egypt. Joseph also took his entire household and his brothers and their household, but they left their little children and flocks of herd in the land of Goshen. A great number of chariots and charioteers accompanied Joseph. When they arrived at the threshing floor of Atad near the Jordan River, they held a very great and solemn memorial service with a 7-day period of mourning for Joseph's father. The local residents, the Canaanites, watched their mourning at the threshing floor of Atad. Then they renamed the place, which is near the Jordan, Abel Mizraim, for they said, "This is a place of deep mourning for the Egyptians." So Jacob's son did as he had commanded them. They carried his body to the land of Canaan and buried him in the cave in the field of Machpelah near Mamre. This is the cave that Abraham has bought as a permanent burial site from Ephron the Hittite. Embalming was typical for Egyptians, but unusual for nomadic shepherds. Believing that the dead went to the next world in their physical bodies, the Egyptians embalmed bodies to preserve them so they can function in the world to come. Jacob's family allowed him to be embalmed as a sign of courtesy and respect to the Egyptians. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap up our reading for today, or tonight, should I say. But please join me on the next episode where we'll be reading Genesis chapter 50, verses 14 through 21. Joseph reassures his brothers. It's been great having y'all as usual, and stay blessed.